Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Monday, October 7th, 2024. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. The 18th Caribbean Week of Agriculture opened today at the University of the West Indies Global Campus. This year's theme is Climate Smart Agriculture for a Sustainable Future. Ministers of Agriculture, stakeholders from across the region are participating in this week-long forum to address pressing issues affecting the agriculture sector. Addressing the participants, Minister of Agriculture Suboto Caesar noted that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is hosting the event at a time when the country is recovering from Hurricane Beryl, which devastated 90% of the banana industry. He highlighted that the region continues to grapple with the impacts of climate change and expressed a desire to see specific climate-smart initiatives implemented to address these challenges.
Encourages us to do the following as an important outcome of CWA 2024. All member states must complete a situational analysis related to our readiness to address climate change mitigation. All member states ought to complete a national asset mapping exercise to be able to define the resources available and needed for climate-smart agriculture. A clear methodology for a well-defined, structured and conceived national climate-smart food production plan must be established, and national budgets must be geared at executing these plans. All of the players are in the room here today. We need a week of focused discussions. Madam Chair, please permit me to use an example. We must identify the agroecological zones in our member states that we know are naturally more resilient than others.
Delivering her address, CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett emphasized that CARICOM remains committed to supporting climate-smart programs. She called on everyone to develop actionable plans during this week of meetings and consultations in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Committed to fostering regional cooperation and knowledge sharing that will propel us towards a greener, more resilient agriculture sector. The representation from the farming community, women, indigenous and youth groups, regional and international development partners, academia, government and the private sector here in this event. And the week's focus on the unique considerations for some sectors indicate our collective commitment to transform agriculture into a more productive, resilient, inclusive and sustainable sector. Let us use this opportunity to sow the seeds of change and cultivate a future where the Caribbean leads by example in climate-smart agriculture. I look forward to participating.
The Food and Agriculture Organization is a key partner in hosting the Caribbean Week of Activities in St. Vincent. Sub-Regional Coordinator Dr. Renata Clark stated that there needs to be strengthened collaboration in the region to effectively tackle these challenges.
All of the opportunities for discussing and networking. We're all in touch in one way or another throughout the year, but there is something powerful about this physical presence for collective reflection and acceleration of that learning process, putting into place, supporting each other to achieve more than we've achieved so far. I would underline that collective bit, Too often, and I keep saying, there is too much to be done for us to be waving our individual flags. The task is too great for us not to be cognizant of what each other are doing and finding a way to line ourselves up to help deliver the most that can be delivered. And this is a place that can be seeding that collaboration.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Alf Gonsalves, the featured speaker at the opening ceremony for the Caribbean Agriculture Week, outlined the numerous challenges faced by the agriculture sector in the region due to disasters. He pointed out that assessing funding remains a significant issue that needs to be addressed.
You can do the climate smart, The technology is available. But having produced the climate smart agriculture, what are you going to do with it? You have to get support up front with certain capital costs to help you to deal with climate smart agriculture. And that can only come from developed countries or from the major international financial institutions. And we have to get that money either as grant or in very generous terms.
Executive Director of the Caribbean Agriculture Research and Development Institute, CARDI, and Shari Hossein, is urging both private and public sector to inject more funds into research and development for climate-smart agriculture. He emphasized that this is a critical area that needs to be focused on during the deliberations this week.
Or with other investments in other rural areas such as health, education, and roads. So the data is out there to support the case for increased R&D public sector funding. Why then do we spend so little on it? Besides this, we need to also scale up innovative solutions and implement large-scale projects that will have the transformative impact needed to drive socioeconomic growth and economic resilience. While greater investments in adapted research is crucial for development climate-smart agriculture solutions and boosting productivity and safeguarding the livelihoods of our producers, equally important is the need to improve access to climate financing for our farmers, especially smallholders. This will, of course, enable them to better cope with shocks and stresses and support more productive, resilient food systems.
Throughout the week, there will be engagements and consultations with all stakeholders, including farmers. Additionally, there will be an agriculture expo at the Kingstown cruise ship port. LIAT 2020 commenced its service to St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Friday, October 4th, 2024. The airline aims to increase accessibility for regional visitors and provide smoother connections for international travelers flying through major Caribbean gateways. At a welcoming ceremony at the Argyle International Airport, Minister of Tourism Carlos James noted that within a 2-month period from October to November, St. Vincent and the Grenadines will welcome 4 new airlines. He also mentioned a 30% surge in stayover arrivals in the first 6 months of the year, a trend that is expected to hold or further increase with the expanded airline services.
My only request and plea to the Vincentian communities and those investors who are looking to invest within the hotel product is to let's work even faster and assiduously to build out our room stock, because the numbers in which we have projected of adding 1,200 rooms, we're close to getting to that number. And our number in terms of stayover arrivals of hitting a target of over 100,000, if we are to look at the first 6 months of the year, and if we are to continue on that trajectory, we will hit that target. Some of the consultants whom we had discussions with prior to the release of the numbers said, well, Minister James, you're optimistic, but we'll see those numbers in the next 2 years. I said, no. We're hitting that target this year. And the numbers are looking as if they will hold, and we're getting as close as we can. Perhaps it will be one of our best years in terms of stayover arrivals here in 2024. It speaks to our commitment driving growth in terms of our tourism, in terms of the economy, tourism expenditure, which no doubt will translate into the positive impact on the GDP, which we have seen over the years from the tourism services sector.
Minister James emphasized that the vision to develop the Argyle International Airport serves as a catalyst for tourism growth, acting as a bridge connecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the rest of the world.
And for a country to develop, you must have some of these critical ingredients: international air access, a sophisticated and improved port in terms of its access to bring in goods and services. But by and large, having all of these ingredients to connect as a bridge, putting St. Vincent in close proximity to our source markets, is critical to our development. And I want to commend the leadership of this country, our esteemed Prime Minister, for his vision and his dedication and commitment in building out this airport in which we are all here gathered here today. Because if it wasn't for this airport, the international connections we're seeing would not have them. The focus now on intra-regional travel. We have had, post-COVID, some challenges in getting people to St. Vincent and the Grenadines from the region. Air access has been difficult. And that is the same cry. All my ministerial colleagues across the region, they're making the same point. And no doubt, with LIAT coming on stream, and the new LIAT 2020, we are one step in the right direction of plugging that hole and ensuring that there is accessibility to a regional market, and we can see more traffic and more volume of people coming and integrating ourselves as a region. I want to thank our government and our Prime Minister and our cabinet colleagues for supporting LIAT 2020. And I want to thank LIAT 2020 for its commitment to servicing the region and servicing St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Chief Executive Officer of LIAT 2020 stated that the airline's entry into St. Vincent and the Grenadines was a carefully considered decision, as the island is regarded as an important strategic hub for their operations.
Other than setting up at our original base in Antigua, we equally sought to look for an additional base where we could foster a much more integrated travel from within the southern part of the Caribbean, and obviously transport people all through the Caribbean. And we had a few considerations, and from all the considerations that we had, St. Vincent was a natural choice for us. Not just because the Prime Minister has been extremely supportive, the cabinet of the St. Vincent has been equally supportive. All of our partners, the airport authorities, at every step of our way in our quest to come or to berth further down south, it's been matched with support. So in that instance, St. Vincent was a natural choice for us. I think as our plans extend to growing the LIAT network, we're not just seeking flights into St. Vincent. So today it's not just the one flight. I think it's very important when I talk about establishing a hub. We are going to be seeking to establish a hub here. We'll be to foster the movement of cargo, businesses, and students and families alike as well.
Prime Minister Dr. Alvin Sass, who also addressed the welcoming ceremony, expressed gratitude to Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Brown for his leadership on LIAT.
When it was LIAT 1974 Limited, and now the new company involving the principal shareholders from West Africa and from Antigua, the government of Antigua, he had faith, defined in Pauline terms, the substance of what we hope for, the evidence of things we have not yet seen. And there were many doubting Thomases, and those who doubted, they can now put metaphorically their hand in the wound, and they can feel that wound. We are very pleased to see our African brothers and sisters now investing in the Caribbean. While this is happening, we are seeing that Afri-Exim Bank has come to Barbados. Afri-Exim Bank is a huge bank headquartered in Cairo. It has an asset base now of about $40 billion, and by 2030, it would be expected to be in excess of $60 billion. Now we have the shareholders in APs working with the government of Antigua. And I have no doubt as LIAT expands, there may be a call perhaps for other shareholders or other kinds of support, but you can rely on St. Vincent and the Grenadines to be there with you as you expand this airline.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines will welcome JetBlue's inaugural flight from New York this Wednesday, October 9th. The SVG Tourism Authority stated that the addition of JetBlue's flight service is a significant milestone for the country's tourism and travel industry. It said among the crew and the staff on board the inaugural flight are several distinguished Vincentians, which adds an even greater sense of pride and connection to the occasion. The authority noted that the government of SVG is excited about the new JetBlue service, which will not only boost tourism but also foster deeper ties between Vincentians in the diaspora and their home country. Minister of Tourism Carlos James said the arrival of JetBlue's inaugural flight to our shores is not just a momentous occasion for tourism, but a symbol of the strength and unity of the Vincentian people, both at home and abroad. The SVG Tourism Authority added that the inaugural flight marks a new era of connectivity, further solidifying St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a growing hub in the Caribbean for travelers and businesses alike. In other news now, Zeta Stevens, Miss KCCU, has been crowned Miss SVG 2024. Stevens claimed the title on Saturday night, competing against 5 other contestants for the prestigious crown. The first runner-up was Leisha Beach, Miss JCI St. Vincent, while Felicia Hector, Miss Instacash, secured the position of a second runner-up. The tightly contested event, co-hosted by American actress Kadeen Ellis, drew a large audience. Following the announcement of the results, an emotional Stevens expressed her shock at winning. In an interview with SVG-TV News, she shared that receiving the $80,000 scholarship will significantly change her circumstances.
It was difficult the last couple of days. I just had to really push, and I just had to try to do my best. And a lot of people don't know this. I had a breakdown backstage, a full-on breakdown, a full-on meltdown. So I'm just really surprised. I'm shocked. I feel like I'm in a dream. I've been telling everybody that. I literally feel like I'm dreaming right now. Yeah. So I was very scared about it, admittedly, because I was like, boy, Zeta, you're a bigger girl. Yes, I might be taller, but I'm bigger. I still have those imperfections or things that people don't consider should be right, like in a pageant. So I was very scared about it. So when I was backstage, lots of people were messaging me and they were like, Zeta, I think you won. But then I was telling them, boy, swimwear, you just never know. So went to university, thank you. Gosh, wow. This pageant for me, it was an opportunity for me to change my circumstances. So I just feel like it's finally come for me. I've been praying about this and it's here. Well, firstly, I have to thank KCCU. I am employed there as well, but I approached my manager way before anything, and I was like, Iran, if I apply for Miss SVG, would you guys sponsor me? So he was like, well, yeah, sure, no problem. So I was kind of surprised by that.
Stevens also took home the titles for Best Talent and Best Interview. Here's a snippet of her talent performance.
Intelligent, capable, worth it, royalty, queens.
Additionally, the winner of the Geku Community Service Project was contestant number 1, Leisha Beach. Best Swimmer and Best Evening Wear awards went to Alvina Pinder. St. Vincent and the Grenadines today observed a National Day of Prayer under the theme Togetherness, Prosperity and Perseverance. The event was organized by the National Day of Prayer Committee in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, with the aim of uniting the nation in collective prayer and of fostering a spirit of community and resilience among citizens. The day's activities included a workplace and school devotions, prayer visits to state institutions, interactive on-air prayers via radio, and a prayer village at the Ministerial Building car park. On NBC Radio's face-to-face program today, Reverend Philbert Danley, Superintendent of the Methodist Church, Kingstown into Chateaubelair Circuit, spoke on the significance of the theme for the National Day of Prayer.
Togetherness can either be something that is occasioned, like for example, we get into a bus, another person get into the bus after us. It's not that we want them to be there, but because we have no other alternative. But togetherness can also be a choice, where for example, we are friends, we are related, we want to be, we're on the same path, and we want to be together, so we made a deliberate choice to be together. And I think that that is what we need to aim for as a nation, that it should not be a case where we are just living in a space, but we're not really interested in each other, but rather we are here because God has placed us here for such a time as this, and we seek to live to the glory of God. Galatians chapter 6, verses 1 to 10 is a very important one, and it speaks about the believers living together. And whether we are believers this morning or not is not the point. The point is that when we seek to live together in love and harmony, then a number of things will take place. And number one, if anyone detected in a transgression, it means that within the group, things are likely to go wrong. And we have to have the attitude of wanting, in a spirit of gentleness, to bring about resolve to those. It cannot be a situation where we are interested only in hurting and killing and destroying. It has to be a spirit of reconciliation, a spirit of healing, a spirit of bringing about wellness.
Reverend Delany emphasized the importance of lending a helping hand to those burdened by the challenges of life.
That at the moment we are seeking to help persons who have been displaced or otherwise affected, even their home being lost because of Hurricane Beryl. But again, it has to be in us. That is what we want to do. We want to bear one another's burdens. And then it goes on to say that we need really, do not be deceived. God is not mocked, for you reap whatever you sow. And that speaks of what kind of persons we are. Are we persons who are genuine? Are we persons who are loving? Are we persons who are caring? Or do we just pretend? Do we just seek to have everything for ourselves? And even if we have to trod on the rights of other persons. And then the last thing I want to share here, do not grow weary in doing what is right. For each one of us, God expects us to do that which is right. We are not always going to be in agreement, but at least let us seek to do what is right. And as whenever we have an opportunity, let us work for the good of all. And as we therefore go through this month of October, celebrating our 45th year of political independence, what a wonderful word to hold on to, and that is the word togetherness. Across political lines, across religious lines, across community lines, we seek always, whenever we have the opportunity, to work for the good of all.
Presiding Bishop and Primate of the Episcopal Church, the Most Reverend Michael Bruce Curry, is on a historic visit to the Diocese of the Windward Islands, St. Vincent and the Grenadines this week. The bishop, who was invited to St. Vincent and the Grenadines by the Right Reverend C. Leopold Friday and the Diocese of the Windward Islands, arrived on the state on Saturday, is being accommodated by canon to the presiding bishop for the ministry within the Episcopal Church, Canon Ann Hazley and Sharon Jones, deputy for administration and logistics for the presiding bishop and primate. A welcome ceremony was held on Saturday for the visiting bishop at the Argyle International Airport, attended by Deputy Prime Minister Montgomery Daniel and Minister of Foreign Affairs Frederick Stevenson and Archdeacon Junior Ballantyne and other clergy. During the brief welcoming ceremony, a member of the organizing committee, Rene Batiste, welcomed the Bishop Curry to SVG and states this is a historical moment for him to be here celebrating the Holy Eucharist.
Have visiting priests will be coming from St. Lucia and Grenada to be here for this historical moment. I am subject to correction, but I think Reverend Jones indicated we have not had an evangelist of the highest order as a bishop coming from the United States of America. Bishop, we may have had visiting priests, but not a bishop. And we have to consider ourselves very fortunate because he is on his pre-retirement tour. I understand that after 9 years of asking, persistent asking by Reverend Jones, that he has found it possible to be here with us in Hyruna, land of the blessed, these gem of the Antilles, this country that is founded on the belief and supremacy of God.
Bishop Curry expressed his excitement for the opportunity to visit SVG and participate in the Holy Eucharist.
And it is just a joy and a privilege to be able to be here. I've been doing everything to make sure I didn't catch the flu, COVID, anything. And I haven't caught anything, so that's good. It really is. It's a blessing and a privilege to be with you. And I've been praying about this and been praying for you and pray that God will mightily bless our time together, that the way of love, which is at the heart of God, it's at the heart of the gospel that Jesus of Nazareth taught, that way of love might break out and break down barriers and renew relationships and help us not only here, but in the United States and around the world where there are wars and rumors of wars. And so we've got work to do, and I hope this will be an inspiration for everyone here.
During the celebration of the Holy Eucharist at the St. George's Cathedral in capital Kingstown on Sunday, October 6, 2024, Reverend Michael Curry delivered a sermon highlighting the importance of love. He stressed that love is the only path forward and urged everyone to understand its profound power. Reverend Curry told the congregation that the people can create a new world by recognizing the transformative power of love.
See, that Martin Luther King once said, we must discover the power of love. And when we discover it, we will be able to make of this old world a new world, because love is the only way. See, I want you to notice what Jesus said to this man. I'm not going to be long this morning. You do know when a preacher says, I'm not going to be long, he means it when he says it, but it may not happen that way when he does it. But I'm not going to be long. The love, he said, the key to eternal life is to love God, love your neighbor, love yourself. That is the key. And
he also emphasized the significance of loving God and one's neighbor, noting that neighbors include all humans regardless of differing views.
God got me here. I'm here because of God. And you're here because of God. You
didn't birth yourself. No, God gave you the breath of life for however long you will have it. Love that God, because God so loved you that God gave you life. For however long it shall be lived, love the Lord your God. But don't stop there. Love your neighbor. And it's clear, neighbor cannot be limited to those folk I agree with or those folk I like. The neighbor, y'all with me? Stay with me now. The neighbor is everybody else. Whether you like them or love them. Now let me be clear. Loving is not the same as liking. He didn't say you must like your neighbor. You may or may not like your neighbor, but love them. Seek what is good, what is wholesome, what will make a difference in their life as much as yours. Do that kind of love. Somebody with me now?
During his time here, Bishop Curry is expected to make courtesy calls to Her Excellency, the Governor-General Dame Susan Duggan, Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Sars, as well as Leader of the Opposition Dr. Godwin Friday, and Bishop of the Windward Islands, the Right Reverend C. Leopold Friday. There will also be an assembly for the students of the Bishop's College, Kingstown, when the presiding bishop will address the school, as well as the Kingstown Anglican School tomorrow, Tuesday, October 8th. The bishop's visit to SVG will conclude with an end song at the Holy Trinity Parish Church, Georgetown, on Tuesday, October 8th at 5:30 p.m.